Okay, in the next example, I want to explain how we can use if function in the JavaScript. So in this case, I would like to use the external file, which is testif.js, and the content of the test if is this one. So let's just change the format. In the HTML files, in this HTML file, you have the script. Okay. Now the script is going to execute the prompt test.js. We can change this one. Now the script is going to execute test if.js if I click the button. Let's make a new JavaScript file and make the name as test if. So I will use this complex if. Okay. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the if. So I'm expecting you already know the programming languages. You're already familiar with computer programming. You're already familiar with the data structure. Okay. So let's just see this example. Can run. So the prompt test will not work because we are going to use directly the test if.js. The result is A equals to 0 and B equals to true. Why? Let's see. A equals to 0. So whenever we define a variable, we need to use var. Even though it is an integer, even though it is a boolean or it is a string, so we just use var. So var A is 0, var B is true. So we know that boolean is true or false, but now we just define it with var. And we have if type of A is undefined. So do you know what does it mean by this one? Oh. Okay, I didn't put this. Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is or. Okay. And we can have this one to see whether it is true or false, or this is true or false. If one of them is true, then it is true. What is the meaning by type of? Type of, it is a kind of question about what is the value of variable A. In this case, I know that the value of variable A is a number. So it means it is not undefined. If it is undefined, means it is blank. Okay? If it is blank or it is known, then we don't have any definition about the data type. So it will be undefined. What about B? The variable B is true. We know true is Boolean. 10 is already defined. So if I check whether A is undefined or B is undefined, both of them are false. Because both of them are false, false or false. Of course, the condition here is false. If the condition is false, then I will not print this one. I will go to the else. What is the else? Now I will check this one. If A equals 0, if A equals 0, yes, it's true. And B, what is B? B is true. So if it is true and it is true, then document write A 0, B true. If not, so we have another else. It means this is the last condition. If this is not true, and if this is not true, then we will do this one. So A will be A and B will be B. So for example, if I have like A equals 0 and B equals to 1, what is the result? Why it is true? Yeah, this one is this one, but B is not boolean. Am I wrong with the else if B is true? Yeah, B is a number. So now they can detect B is a number. If it is true, then it is a boolean. So it is automatically detected as a boolean. If I change the number, like this one, B equals to 1, then if you move your mouse to variable B, then it is detected as number. So if it is a number, it should not be here. Interesting. This everything is okay. Okay, I'm not sure. There's something missing here. Everything is okay. Why it cannot detect the numbers here? This one is with this one. This one. Interesting. Is there something wrong? That's if. Oh, yeah. If this condition, it is wrong. This condition should be false. False and true, it should be false. If it is false, then we will go here. But why it doesn't enter here? Oh. This is true and false. So if it is true and false, then of course it will be false. So it will go here. I don't think so. Actually, yeah, if we change to string, of course, it is not false. Maybe because of the zero, maybe. Still, it is true, even though p equals to a. Now p is a string, and p is nothing. So now they consider p is correct, or we can debug. I think there is a kind of oh, so this is not a problem of this code, maybe because it is the problem of the JavaScript itself, because JavaScript is very sensitive. If you are not understand the correct syntax, it will ruin all the things. Yeah, because maybe it's because of zero. Okay, maybe you're correct, Ramon. Maybe because of the zero. Okay, I need to check more. This is interesting. Yeah, if it is 1 and 5, it is now in the last one. But if it is 0 and 5, yeah, it will remain here. Oh. Okay, I will check more about this one. This is very new thing for me. It's very unique. Okay. Anyway, yeah, you also learn something new. Okay. I am also learning something from here. I thought that it can change, but it doesn't change the result. So the conditional statement. Okay, so it means here we are going to use if, and you know how to use if. And for every statement in JavaScript, you need to put the semicolon at the end. So it's similar with Java. If you have the conditional if and you want to use switch, so the switch is also possible. Let's say you want to use switch, and let's make test underbar switch.js. Test underbar switch. So you can say something like alert 1. Then you can say this is alert character. Okay, so do something means, yeah, you can do something if it is true. I hope that I do not need to explain more about switch. Yeah. Okay, maybe some of you are not familiar with switch, this one. The switch means I want to check all the variable. If the variable equals to 1, then we will do something here. And then once we finish with do something, then we will do break. If the variable equals to a, then we will do something here and then break, or we will stop. If the case is something here and then we will do something and then break, we will stop. You can make comments in the JavaScript using the // Let's say I make alert, it is pi. And then if nothing concerned with this one, then alert nothing. And don't forget to change the switch. Oh. Oh, I need to make as a function. So I need to make a function of variable. Okay, I need to make it as a function because I need to have one variable. Okay. Otherwise, yeah, you can do it this maybe 8. So okay, you can make like this one. Oh, I think there's something wrong with the code. Okay, so if I press 1, then it is a number. So if I give 1, so it is a number. I make a function sample and then I give one parameter, which is variable. So the variable that I give here, it will be the variable that you input in this button. So I just make 1 as the parameter. So 1 here is number. Okay. So let's see if I change this to 2, for example. Then yeah, nothing. Okay. So it means it does not match with the condition. In this case, the condition is 1 and character A, and then 3.14, which is pi. If the condition is not 1, is not A, and is not 3.14, then it will give you alert nothing. So that's the switch case. If you want to have multiple if, and the multiple if you are doing with Java, each of this variable should be the same data type. But with the JavaScript, it is totally free, or it is typeless, no data type. While loop, actually the while loop is also similar with the Java. We have for loop. For loop means we have the first or the initial value, and then the condition, and then the action. The initial value means I would like to start a variable, and the variable will be the initial value. Let's say this is 0. And then I will check if the counter is less than 4. Because the starting value is 0, then it is true. So we will do alert counter. And then after we do this one, it will be added by 1. So counter plus plus, it is adding by 1. So the counter will become 1. 1 is less than 4, yes. So I will print again the counter. So I will just copy and paste this one, and then let's make the test underbar loops.js. Test underbar loops. So I will put this one. And then in the index.html, let's change this one. Test loops. Now I don't have the function, so you can just run. And when you run, yeah, directly it will show you the pop-up 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. Why? Okay, one more time. 0, 1, 2, 3, 5. Where is the 4? Where is 4? So yeah, if we just review a little bit, it is based on Java, and the sequence matters. Counter plus plus with plus plus counter. It is different. In this case, I want to print counter, okay, counter, and then I do plus 1. So let's just do this one. Counter equals to 0. Okay. Now I will check. 0 is less than 4. Yes, true. Then I will alert counter. So now counter will be added by 1. Counter plus plus, it means added by 1. Now the counter becomes 1. So the 1, it will be checked. Oh, I missed this one. Sorry, I clicked the wrong. Okay, counter now equals to 1. I will check 1 is less than 4. Yes, true. Then I will alert counter. So counter will be added by 1. Now counter becomes 2. So I will check 2 is less than 4. Yes. Then alert counter. Counter plus plus. Now counter becomes 3. 3 less than 4? Yes. Alert counter. Counter plus plus. Now it becomes 4. 4 less than 4? No. Then we stop the looping for loop and then we go to the while loop. While counter less than 5. Okay, what is counter? Now counter equals to 4. Okay. So here I would like to print alert plus plus counter. So plus plus counter, it means I would like to add the variable counter first. What is the variable counter? It is 4. So I would like to do plus plus first. So 4 will be added by 1. Now it becomes 5. And then I will print number 5. So the number 5 will be the variable value counter. So that's why we will have 5 in this case. Okay. In this case, we will do something and then plus by 1. But in this case, plus plus counter, it means we will plus by 1 and then do something. That's the sequence. So function. In the functions, it's also similar with methods in Python. It's also similar with methods in Java. Now let's have this one. And I will give functions does test1.java. Let's make this one. Yeah, you can type your JavaScript name as you want. Okay. I'm just giving you this function that test1, and then in this JavaScript you can copy and paste here. Now after you have this one, you can do changes on the index.html. I'm going to use function. Okay, so you have the JS function test1. Oh, nothing happened. Why there is no result? Because the function name is average. Okay, so we need to have this average. Actually, maybe I mistake this one. You can just call this function average. Now I will try to do this one without any parameters. So I will just call average. Is it possible? So you cannot see any errors. You will have difficulties if you are not familiar with the JavaScript, because whenever you write the code, you cannot see any errors. We know that the parameters should be 3. Is A, B, and C. Okay. Then if you want to call this one, let's say I have 3 5, 6. Okay. I need to match with the number of parameters. Oops. Function, sorry. Functions. I missed the S. Okay. So now the average is 4. What is the average? Hmm. The function average is given here. Okay. Even though you put 3, 5, and 6, okay, but this function will write something based on this number. So when you run this function test, so actually is okay without the okay, without the parameters, it works. As I remember, it works. So it works with the result. Now I know that the function average, it contains 3 parameters, A, B, and C. But if I don't put any value, yeah, we can assess or we can run the function. And here I have a one statement to show the average. The average of A equals to 2, B equals to 4, and C equals to 6. And this one, it will be here. 2 is A, 4 is B, and C is 6, because we have 3 parameters. And then I have variable total, so I do not know what is the type, but I just define the variable total, and total will be equals to A plus B plus C. And I'm returning the value of total divided by 3. So 2 plus 4 plus 2, 6, so it means 12 divided by 3, then it equals 4. So the result is 4. Okay, and yeah, we can return. Okay. The return function means if I have a functions and I want to return a value, let's say I want to show it in the pop-up, or I want to return the value into the HTML. So the functions are not required to return a value. If you want to call the function, when calling a function, it is not obligatory to specify all its arguments. The function has access to all the argument passed via the argument arrays. So you can see here we have arguments. So if you learn the JavaScript, there are so many various kind of data types and also various kind of arguments. So it takes a long time to remember all the things. So I will not give you many things, but I just give you some taste of the JavaScript in this lesson. Now, if you copy and paste this one into functions test 2, okay. So actually when you are doing this one, yeah, you don't care with this actually. Now the result is 7. Okay, what does it mean by 7? It doesn't care with the prompt here, but what we can see here is the function sum. So the function sum I have a variable sum is 0, and it will start from 0 until the argument's length. So it means I can give any numbers, and the numbers that I give, it will be converted into a kind of array. And for every of the argument in the index I, it will be parsed into integer, and it will be added to the variable sum. So we will do from index 0 until the I equals to the length. Now I give the variable, the function sum with 3 numbers, 1, 2, and 4. So we will do the summation. The summation means I will add those numbers 1, 2, and 4. So the number equals to 7. And I don't care what is the what is inside of this parenthesis. Let's say you know that the function here has nothing in the parameter, but I want to give the arguments. This is the arguments, and it depends on the user input. So it's very flexible. If I give 3, then it will measure 3. If I give 5, it will measure 5. If I give 6, it will measure 6. So it's totally flexible or dynamic. So if you run this, now you can get the result 25. Okay. Now, we need to understand also how we can parse the value. Let's say I have a Python code, and then I want to pass it into the JavaScript. There are some ways of how to pass the value from Python to the JavaScript. First, the Python, actually, we can say this is the backend. Something runs in the server, something that runs in the main computer, but the JavaScript, something that runs in the user, or we call it front end. So it will affect what the user see. It will affect what the client do. The data will be stored in the database and can be retrieved using Python. So when you have the data, and then we use the Python first, and after we get the Python, we can show it into HTML, or yeah, we can show something to the web, and then we can pass it into the JavaScript. If we want to do something to reduce the computation on the server, and we want to say that, okay, let the user do something. There might be necessary to run algorithms or some measurement in JavaScript due to the performance issues. Maybe I do not want to make the server runs, I want to make the client runs. So this example shows a basic way to pass the data from Python to JavaScript via HTML. So let's see. I will make a function in the views.py, and I will make one function called analysis, and it will render the analysis.html. So in the views.py, let's make analysis. and it will render analysis.html. Let's make the analysis.html in the folder templates. And let's change the HTML file. Okay, I will explain later. So after I have the HTML file, let's make one link. So I can make a separate URL for this purpose. So this is the analysis part, and I put it into urls.py. Okay, there is one analysis problem. So you can put the analysis after the home, like this one, to call the function analysis. Okay. So call the analysis, and yeah, we will have the analysis function, so it can be called on this link. So I will call the analysis. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is from the data. It is from the views.py. I have the data here, and I would like to render this data into the HTML, and let the data is the data. In this analysis.html, I will put the data. What is the data? It is a list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it is an array. And then I have one hidden. What does it mean by hidden? Hidden means I cannot see in the HTML, but there is a variable in the HTML, and the variable name will be the my file. Let me give this as a variable, and let be the value is the data. And I want to give, if I click print my var, so I will do this JavaScript statement. So if I click data test, then I will see the data in the JavaScript. Okay. So here I'm just giving the value. What is the value? So this is the value. I know the value from the data, and then I'm going to get the value from the get element by ID. What is the ID? The ID is my var. Here is the my var. After I know the value and I put it into the variable my var, so I would like to print it. So this is the way to print my var. Now it is a string. Sorry, it is a kind of list. And because this is a string, we cannot do more operations. We will more later how to convert the string into an array format, or how to convert from string into a kind of JSON format, so we can do some operation. Or maybe later we will learn how to calculate the Euclidean distance and so on from the JavaScript. Okay. The last part. Okay. I think I will make it quick. Debugging. So the JavaScript is totally dynamic. It is difficult if we want to understand all the codes. So there's a way to check your code if there are some errors. We call it debugging. In JavaScript, modern browsers have JavaScript console where errors in scripts are reported. And the errors may differ across browsers. So if you use Internet Explorer, the errors might be different with Chrome. If you use Safari, the errors might be different with another browser. So several tools to debug JavaScript. We can use Microsoft Script Editor. I think this is the most powerful one. It is an add-on for the Internet Explorer. And it supports breakpoints, watcher, and there are some also statements for the debugger. But we need to have the editor. In Chrome, there's a JavaScript editor as well. You can download the tools. And we can edit the JavaScript in the lib editor to show the result for the running JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. In JavaScript, there should be a combination with the jQuery. So in the next week, we will learn about the jQuery. And there will be some kind of code analysis. We call it the fly code analysis and warning. And in the Chrome, they also provide hands-on learning environment, and there is kind of data object model. Maybe just short examples we can do with the F12. Okay. So if you go to Chrome, you can press F12. So if you press F12, you can see that in your right panel, there are some information like the elements. This is from your HTML. And then you can see the console. So the console you can print or you can check if there is any error in your JavaScript. And then the source, it means, I know that it used the analysis link from the server that I use now. And you can check all other things based on what you develop on your web. For example, the performance, the memory, or the application, and the security. So if there is any error, you can see the console. The console will show the error message. For now, I don't have any errors. Maybe, let's see if I put this one. Just example. There is no error message. You can see now there is an error message in the script. Uncaught reference error, document is not defined. So it means I need to put document with T. So the error message can be seen in the console. So if you need to know what is the error message or why it doesn't work, so you can open your console. Okay, then I guess that's all the part of the JavaScript finished. So I can continue to other part next week. Okay. Any questions?